Hey, we're live. It worked. Technology is our friend today so far, y'all, but we might have a little challenge as we've got some storms where our guest Rick is at, and I'll introduce you in a second, Rick. I'm so glad to be on this Facebook Live tonight. Chris and I are a little tired. Rick, we have been on the road. So we started with the event in Montana with Discovery Week, and we're going to talk about that. And then we went to Farmington, Utah, and we had a great event at Cabela's there. And then we were at Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's Mountain Festival in Park City, Utah. We had just under like 498 guests sign in with us for those two events. And so it was a very busy event. I was sorry I didn't bring my bow because they had the Total Archery Challenge, which they slang called TAC. And that is where they go out into the mountain and shoot this tremendous 3D course. I don't know if you've ever seen them, Rick, but they're shooting 100-yard shots. It is pretty cool. Lots of arrows lost, but we're excited to have you. And I know Chris is dying to introduce you. So Krista, go ahead and tell everybody why Rick is here and what we're going to talk about today.
Right. So we met Rick at our week up at Upper Canyon Outfitters. We went to Discover It Week. And Rick was kind of our instructor, leader, guide for the week in a lot of categories. We learned a lot from him. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself because I could probably start talking about it and we would keep going and going and going. So Rick, do you want to share a few little tidbits about who you are, how you got involved in the outdoors, and then maybe about your time at Upper Canyon?
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's great to see everybody again. I'm Rick, and I was always interested in the outdoors from the time I was a kid. I didn't go to swimming pools, and I was always in the woods or down by the river. And it kind of escalated as I got older. I was in the Boy Scouts and joined a hunting camp. And from there, I always wondered how the Native Americans, the Aborigines, and the African Bushmen could survive with absolutely nothing. So this is my college. This is what I did for 30 plus years. I studied it. Do I know everything? No, but you're always learning. And so we put together we were the first survival school in Pennsylvania at the time. And we put together a class. It was a 4-day class. We put about 1,200 people through it. And when I went out to Upper Canyon Outfitters, Donna out there asked if I could put a women's class in the outdoors together. And I said, sure, we can make something work. So we've been doing this since 2006. It's been we've had a lot of fun over the years. Great people. The people leave, they cry, and they're just, they share information. So we become a family when we leave. So hopefully we can continue.
So Rick, I have to ask you really quickly, with this Discover It Week and learning about the outdoors, is there anything else at Upper Canyon Outfitters you do? What about some fly fishing?
I work as a hunting and fishing guide. I've been doing it now this is my 20th year.
Wow.
So year, which was a lot of fun. So yeah.
I absolutely had such a great time at Discover It Week. So let me kind of explain what it is, and Rick will expand on some things. Sorry, I'm choking to death here. You can't make this up. So we learned what to do if you choke. No. Actually, one of the cool things we did is we built a debris shelter. And so this whole entire process really helps give you confidence in the field so that if, God forbid, something happened to you, you had a little bit of knowledge on how to help yourself survive. And it was really very enlightening for me on many levels. There's also, I'm going to call it almost a spiritual feel to being in the woods that is talked about a lot in terms of your senses. And I know we're going to talk about your senses and what you see, but there was an exercise that was kind of like a meditation exercise. And I spend a lot of time in the woods, y'all. Like, I am in the woods a lot. And it was one of the first times that I actually felt a part of it. I always feel like I'm a participant in it. And for the first time in this one exercise, I felt like I was a part of it. Like it was it included me, the outdoors, and it was a very different feeling. And I've always loved the outdoors, but that was a very moving experience for me to feel like I was part of nature instead of a witness to nature. So it was very cool, Rick. I just loved every minute of it.
Great.
Why don't we talk a little bit about your senses in the outdoors? Because people might read that statement and think, well, I can see there's a tree, there's a rock. What does it have to do with the senses? Because it's more than just visual.
Yeah. I have a couple little notes I'm just going to put together, and we have 5 senses, and what I'm going to talk about tonight is just the 3 that I think are vitally important to help you in the outdoors as a hunter, a hiker, or just someone who likes the outdoors. And what I always stressed about in the classes is the awareness. The awareness to me is one of the most important things you can learn in any survival situation because we miss so much when we're out there. We go from point A to point B, and everything else in between is kind of lost. Just being cognizant of your surroundings. You can use it anywhere. You could use it going to your car from the supermarket. So it doesn't have to be just in the outdoors. And excuse me, we have a habit of where we go, we park our vehicle and we grab our belongings and we shoot off and charge into the outdoors. And that's something that, we as humans, we just do. We block everything out. So before taking off, what I suggest is when you get out of your vehicle, just stand there for 2 or 3 minutes, calm yourself down, take a couple deep breaths. And what I'll talk about is the 3 senses that will open up to you. And the first one that I'd like to talk about is our vision. Now, with the vision, you can burn this to memory, you can write it down. Where the eyes go, the senses follow. Okay, again, where the eyes go, the senses follow. The most important thing is we talk about peripheral vision or wide angle vision. So what are those two, and what is tunnel vision? Your wide angle vision that we have is our peripheral vision out to our side. You can't really see this, but I do an exercise. We put our hands out and we wiggle our fingers and we keep them behind our shoulders. And as I'm looking straight ahead, I'm just moving my hands in like this, okay, till I see my fingers wiggle. That's my wide angle vision. That's my peripheral vision. In wide angle vision, you're going to pick up things that you haven't seen. We have a tendency to stay in tunnel vision. Our tunnel vision would be much like looking down a tube of toilet paper, or we focus on something and we focus on something. When we stay in wide angle vision, it's going to open up our senses even more. You're going to see more movement. You're going to take in the bigger picture. And with wide angle vision, you want to stay in that as you're moving around and panning the landscape, looking. You're just not focusing on one thing, but you're looking at the entire landscape in that wide angle vision. So when you hear a sound in the woods, the thing to do is you hear the sound, you focus, and now you go into the tunnel vision to identify that sound, to see what that sound is. But the minute you identify it, it's a non-threat, there's nothing moving, immediately go right back into your wide angle vision again.
Yeah, we did this there. And I have to tell you guys, like when I'm hiking in the woods, a lot of times I'm always looking at my feet so that I don't trip and step. And I practiced this wide angle vision and I was amazed at what opened up. And I still was able to, glance down occasionally and make sure I wasn't misstepping. But my head normally when I walk is like right like this down. And using that wide angle vision, it was really enlightening to see how much more you paid attention. It wasn't like paying more attention, I guess. When you say,
I was going to say that where Karen is able to walk and see peripherally, if y'all know that my name says Krista on the screen, but it should say Klutz. So I'm still having a hard time with that.
That's true.
Right. And when we were in Montana doing the exercise, I would really don't look down or try to look ahead and know what was coming. When we went to Utah last week, we had some opportunity, one of our photo shoot days where I got to sit and the team was was milling about taking some pictures. And so I sat for a moment and tried to use that peripheral vision to see everything. And actually, if any of our team is watching, I caught the camp director, we'll call him. He was an interesting character, coming through the trees because I was using my peripheral vision. I was just sitting and practicing it. I probably wouldn't have noticed him if I had not been actively practicing it at a normal time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, with your wide angle vision, this happened many times too, where the only time you should really lock into your tunnel vision is so many archery hunters and also rifle hunters, when they're out there, they see an animal and they focus on the antlers or they focus on the animal itself. But as they're focusing on that animal, they're ready to take the shot, and all of a sudden something catches their eye, and here comes a bigger animal in. So the only time you're really focusing on the tunnel vision itself is the moment that you're going to aim at the target spot on the animal to take the shot. That's the only time. The concentration level is the only time that you're going to be in tunnel vision. Other than that, wide angle. And also, I don't know if this is true, but and it's happened to me quite a few times, when you're in wide angle vision and you stay in wide angle vision when you see the animal, it's going to be less spooky. The minute you go into tunnel vision, there's something about that sixth sense that the animal might pick up on. So whenever you're looking at an animal, don't directly stare at that animal. Always use your wide angle vision, and you're going to find out it's the animal just calms down. So just a little tidbit with that. The other one we can talk about real quick, two more, would be your hearing. And we did an exercise out there where the animals, we have big ears, okay, and they're constantly shifting they're focusing on the sound. We as humans don't have that. So what we did an exercise is we cup our hands behind our ears. And if you hear a sound, just take your hands, put them behind your ears, and just focus on that. How many times do we only hear what we want to hear? A very loud sound, but we don't pick up the small little sounds, the birds. We don't listen to the wind in the trees, or distant voices. So with the sounds and concentric rings, then we discussed that. And concentric rings are if I would have a pebble and throw it into a very still pond, it hits, that's our focal point. And now the concentric rings, the ripples, dissipate throughout the forest. Well, sounds do the same thing. So something caused that to happen. You have something moving through the woods, which causes the blue jays to all of a sudden take flight. There might be a squirrel scampering through the woods, climbing a tree, barking. They just don't do that naturally. Something caused that. So that's one way to listen to the sounds when you're out there with your hearing. And the last one, real quick, would be smell. Different parts of the forest give off different odors and different smells. Smoke or something foreign doesn't belong in the forest. So naturally, it's going to, when you open up your senses, something doesn't smell right. Or how many times did you smell a buck and rut? Many times when you're out archery hunting, I've been out there and I've smelled buck when it's just about dark or in the morning. They could be passing. So that little bit of smell. So if we learn to wrap that up, if we learn to use the three senses, practice them, we as humans, that's our instinct. We're born with it, but we don't use it. So if you learn to use just these three senses out there, you're going to become more aware. You're going to be a better hunter. But again, take your time before you rush into the woods with anything. Slow down, open up your senses, and then take off and enjoy yourself. No.
Right. And this definitely applies whether you're in the woods or just in the city, right? Using your senses to stay safe. You can
Absolutely.
do all of the same things. It's so funny. I'm still stuck back at peripheral vision, and it occurred to me that my turkey hunt earlier this year, I didn't move my head, and I saw the turkey peripherally until Karen finally, just shy of knocking me over the head, got me to take the shot. Right, because I was afraid to move my head, but I could see them coming and how I was looking at them from the side of my eye, not from looking forward, right? It's crazy, 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 crazy.
Right. Yeah, but it was a great shot you made, Krista. Rick, we had so much fun. We can't wait. We know that Donna's looking at adding some advanced levels to Discover It Week, and we're very excited for that. And we'll post on here where people can go look for next year's Discover It Week. I'm going to write an article about it. We did a lot of things during that week. Not only did we do all that, we also got to fly fish. There was horseback riding. There was equine facilitated learning, which is a really great way to get in touch with yourself and how you interact with others. It's very, very cool program that Cassie does out there at Upper Canyon. The whole entire thing, building a debris hut, right? We physically built a debris shelter so that if we were stuck in the woods, we could fix it. And y'all, that's pretty cool to do. We also talked about getting lost and what you would do if you got lost. It was almost overwhelming, the amount of information that was there, but not too much. It was just the perfect amount of information to get us more interested in learning more, but also really connect us with the outdoors and how we can take some responsibility. Like everything in life, you take some responsibility for your actions when you're in the woods, and you can enjoy them 10 times more than you were previously. So really appreciate everything that you did for us. I'm going to look at our time because these always go so fast. And
I know. And I'm thinking that, Rick, we might have to have you on again later in the season as we get closer to hunting and fall hiking to talk about, if you get lost in the woods, or maybe a little bit of conversation on tracking and even that debris shelter. So we had a blast as a team doing that. And we now know that would be a long process for an individual. Right?
Great. Well, thank you for having me. And it's always a pleasure, and it's always a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for coming on. We'll have you on it again in the future. If you don't mind hanging here, we'll finish up with some business.
Sure.
Everyone like, comment, and share. And I think our comment should be, which sense are you going to work on? Are you going to work on your vision, your hearing, or your smell? Whether you're going to use it outdoors in the woods or outdoors in the city, where are you going to pull in and really take that next step and focus? And from those that comment, like, and share, we will pull a winner for next week for this live. Of course, that will be some Shoot Like a Girl swag. I do have last week's winner. Or was it last week? That's right. We didn't come live last week because we were in Utah. It was the week before. And that was about Archery 101. And that is Vicki Nelson Alexander. So I'll reach out to you and we'll get your mailing address and get that out to you.
Congratulations, Vicki.
Yes, awesome. Congratulations, Vicki. Next week, we're going to be at Wonders of Wildlife, and we're going to try something different. So we're going to ask that y'all be part of our pilot test program. We're going to come to you live individually. So Karen will come separately from me. One of us will be on our Instagram page live, and one of us will be here on our Facebook Live page. And we're not going to stay on for the whole 15 minutes. We are going to show you some things about the Wonders of Wildlife Museum, which Karen can share a little bit about that because she's been there before. I haven't. It'll be a new experience for me.
Oh my gosh. If you ever, it's a destination to go to Springfield, Missouri and go to that museum. I think it's one of the top destinations for several years in a row. And not only do they have just this magnificent aquarium, they also have taxidermy and the history of really kind of hunting and the outdoors, really more the outdoors than hunting, honestly, and the different species of the world that are there. It is just it's breathtaking. It will take you all day. We've done it in 2 hours when we have time. But it's a great place. It's great for kids as well. At the very end, you get to touch the stingrays, which is always cool as they swing around. But it's absolutely magnificent. So we're excited for that. And we're excited to get to Springfield, Missouri next weekend. We'll be there at the Bass Pro Shops Saturday and Sunday. And if you're in that area, please come out and say hello. Come shoot with us. If you're an experienced shooter or a brand new shooter, everybody is welcome, and we look forward to it. And Rick, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for what you do. I always have to give a shout out, my husband, Todd, Chris's husband, Jeff, we are so appreciative of the men in our lives who take time to mentor and educate us on things that we're unaware of. And we just really want to give you a shout out for sharing your knowledge with us so respectfully and so dedicated to helping women really empower themselves with knowledge to go out and enjoy the outdoors. So that's what you do at Upper Canyons, and we're just very grateful. So thanks very much, Rick.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Rick, we'll talk about dates in the future for you to come back on. Y'all have a
Sounds
good night.
You too. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.